Our leaders in Africa are power hungry. That's the topic of discussion today. Leaders in Africa, they are looking for power in order to control people other than providing meaningful leadership for the development of the continent. No wonder Africa is still poor because of having corrupt leaders. We need to change if we would like to develop. Africa is a good continent. Africa can develop. Africa has got a lot of minerals, but our leaders, because they are looking for money and power, they don't care about using the resources in order to advance the interests of the people. It's very sad that in Africa we are still depending on aid to develop. This is very bad. Aid cannot develop Africa, and it will never. We need to begin to think about the people in order for the continent to develop. No wonder there are leaders in Africa who are still in power, yet there's no good thing they are doing. They're just selfish. They're just thinking about themselves. They're busy making money to enrich themselves, forgetting about poor people. This is very sad. If Africa is to develop, let's begin to think about the people. I believe there is no any person in the continent of Africa who is happy with the type of the leaders that we have. That's why even in Africa today, we are fighting one another because of having leaders who are clueless, leaders who are selfish, leaders who don't think about the people, leaders who are just thinking about, let me get more money, let me enrich myself. This is not good at all. And we are seeing that the continent of Africa is nowadays more divided. And this is so because there are leaders who are against the unity of Africa. There are leaders who don't think like Africa can be united. That's why we treat each other like strangers. This is not good at all. This is very bad. I believe if Africa is to develop, we need to have leaders who are so much more interested in the affairs of the people to develop the continent for the common good of all people. Don't think like you are there to tell us more about the democratic principles when we are seeing you completely fighting against the very principles of democracy. And you're promising to change the continent, to change the people. Change yourself before you talk about changing the people. Change yourself. What are you looking for in that position of power? What do you want to achieve? Do you think like you're doing the right job when you are carrying out your political responsibilities? Are you impacting the lives of the people? Are you doing something that the people like? African people are tired of having leaders who don't care about their lives, who don't care about what people are going through. Let's choose leaders who can help to build this continent. You see, now we are like taking each other to court. There is a situation currently that is affecting other people, and we are finding it like something which is unbelievable. South Africa is being taken to criminal court of justice, is being reported to African Union because we have got disagreements, because people are not happy. You know, the situation in South Africa is about citizens in Africa are not happy with their government. And now they are like taking actions by themselves in order to provide for their future. They think like it's good to fight for their own future, to fight for their own life. And they're saying if we can build Africa, let us also do what South Africans are doing to take responsibility of our own future in our own countries. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But let us also understand that it is good to advance unity in Africa. It is good to advance cooperation in Africa. It is good to advance respect of human life. It's good to protect one another as African people. It is not good to hate a brother in Africa, to kill a brother in Africa on petty issues like being a foreigner in a certain country. Therefore, you are regarded as a criminal and you're killed. I think that's not good at all. But the blame should go to our leaders. What are you doing for the people? Are you advancing for the interests of the people? Are you impacting lives of the people? Or you are there just for power? You are there to enrich yourself. You are there to promote your own interests. What are you doing? You know, look at the resources that we have in Africa. It's a lot of resources. We've got minerals. You talk of oil, you talk of gas. You talk, take this, for example, Mozambique has got a lot of gas. We've got gold, diamond, I mean, a lot of resources. But are these helping to develop our lives? Or these are just minerals that we hear about, and instead of them being used to help our people that are being removed from our continent to benefit other people who are not Africans. All this because of leadership. All this because of deals. All this because of bad leaders. Let's make sure that as we are thinking about lives of the people, we are doing everything to advance the interests of the people. We are doing everything to build the continent for the betterment of all people in Africa. Let's develop this continent. Let's build each other in Africa. If you are a leader, stop thinking about yourself. Stop advancing for your own interests. Begin to think about people. Begin to promote the interests of the people. We can build the Africa that is good for all people. It is possible. We can make Africa to become the best continent. It is possible. Let us do something that can help to build the lives of the people. Leaders should not be thinking about power and money. Leaders should be thinking about the lives of the people. I'm so disappointed in Africa that we are not doing enough to change the lives of the people. When will Africa wake up to develop? When will our leaders wake up to change the lives of people? Stop thinking about politics every day. Think about the lives of the people. Africa is ours. We can build this continent. We can change this continent. We can make Africa to become the best continent. I am so surprised to see that African people are so much interested to be quiet, not to take any responsibility when they see their leaders doing whatever they are doing, which is being hungry for power, to keep the grip on the power, to not take interest in the lives of the people. Africa cannot change. Africa cannot become better if we begin to fight one another, if we begin to hate one another, if we begin to think about ourselves instead of thinking about the people. Leadership is very important, but if leadership is much more concerned about doing what is important for yourself, that's not good at all. I don't think like we are here to begin thinking about how much money I can have to change myself, to build myself at the expense of poor people. We have got the reports that Africa is rich, of course, in minerals, but it remains the poorest, remains undeveloped. We are already doing what is harm against one another because we feel like we are enemies to each other. That's not good at all. That's not how we can develop as a continent. Let us build the continent that is better for all people. Every day waking up, hearing the stories like people in Africa are still getting aid to develop. And how much money do we get for the development of our lives? You will see that it's a little money, it cannot have an impact on our lives. You have to know that. If they're giving us 10 million US dollars, 100 million dollars, thinking like that can change our lives, forget about that. We need to begin to have bargaining power on how we want to develop our continent. That's the most important thing. Bargaining power means that we are able to make decisions about our future. We are able to say, we want this, we don't want this. Not just accepting everything. Not just saying we can do everything, which we are being told to do when we know this is not helping us, when we know this is not even building us, when we know that our lives are not changing with the things that we've been doing, the same things that we've been doing over years, having helped to develop. No wonder South Africa, as developed as it is, its citizens still poor. And this is not only South Africa, the whole continent of Africa, Nigeria, Ghana. We are all the same. Our leaders are getting rich, they're having better lives, they're enjoying, they're driving nice cars in the continent, they're having money in their accounts, and they think they're okay when people are still poor, when people are not changing, when Africa is still undeveloped. This is so sad. Let's change. Let's build the continent which we would like to build. Let's develop this continent. It's ours. Nobody can develop it. I should say here that if Africa is to develop, we must take the responsibility. We must begin to think about the people. We must work very hard. We must use our resources to build our continent. Don't sell the resources just for little money. Make sure that the resources are benefiting the people. That's how we can develop. That's how Africa can be better. But as we think about ourselves, as we think about how I can become the richest leader in Africa, let me tell you, Africa will never develop. We will be poorest forever. It's very good to change this continent for the betterment of all people in this continent. I don't think like leaders, you are doing enough. We cannot just be having the same continent that is poorest. Instead of changing it, instead of doing something better, instead of building this continent to benefit all people, how can we build the continent to benefit all people? Africa should understand that to build the continent to benefit all people is very important. Is very important. To build a continent to benefit all people is very important. How is that possible? Simple. Building a continent to benefit all people means that you are thinking about the people. You are doing everything to change the lives of the people. We cannot be doing things in the old way when the old way has not helped us to change, when the old way has not helped us to develop. Let's now start doing things in a different way, making sure that there is an impact to the lives of all people. We are caring about the people. We're not caring about the money. We're not caring about power. Our friends in the developed continent, they relinquish, they withdraw from power when they are not bringing a meaningful development to their citizens. When people begin to complain about their leadership, they stop, they give up. But in Africa, leaders, they're just maintaining power when there's nothing else they are doing to change the lives of the people. Because for them, what is important is money and power. They feel good when they have all these things. When they control people, when they drive nice cars, when they are having whatever they've been looking for, that's more important. They don't care about people. They don't care about the cries of impoverished Africans. So let's change the way we are doing our things. Let's begin to think about people. Let's build this continent of Africa for the betterment of our people. I know if we would like to see the continent that is best, if we would like to see the continent that is happy, our leaders should begin to think about the people. Stop thinking about money. Stop thinking about it. Power. You know, it's very sad that power is what is keeping them controlling us, not the need to hope, not the desire to develop the Africa. They think about corruption, getting quick riches, empowering themselves. That's the most important thing the leaders are obsessed with. African leaders. Stop. Begin now to think about people. Begin now to say that you are there in order to help the people. You're there in order to build this continent. You're there to change the lives of the people meaningfully. I believe we will develop. I believe Africa will no longer be the same. I believe we are going to see good Africa very soon. Let's stop being hungry for power. Let's stop being selfish. Let's stop being interested in only our personal warfare, when people are suffering, when people are crying every day, when Africa remains poorest. It cannot be like that. We need to change all these things. We need to build the better Africa. We need to develop our continent. We begin to understand that Africa is there to even be a leader in the global sphere. Africa must be now looking for leadership in the way the world things are being done, because we have got the resources, therefore we can have dominion, we can have control. We are not talking about being a world leader. We are talking about doing things that can position ourselves as not beggars, but as people who can give as well others, to help others, to build lives of the people. The problem is we don't want to be united in the continent of Africa. That's the biggest problem. Unity is very important. Unity is what can make us strong. But I know there are reasons why we are not united. We are not united because we believe like we are going to lose the power once we get united. I believe if we would like to make the continent of Africa become better, we need to begin to think about doing things like one people, helping one another in the continent. That is the most important thing to do. That is the most important thing to do. We cannot we cannot talk about unity in the continent of Africa if we begin to hate one another, if we begin to look at each other as adversaries, as enemies. We need to begin to think that we are not enemies, but we are one people. The continent of Africa should understand that the development of our continent will be done once we come together, once we begin to do things like one people, once we understand that we are not enemies, but we are brothers and sisters. Our leaders must understand that. Don't be selfish leaders. Don't be looking for power only. You must also look for bringing people together to develop our continent, to build our continent. That's what we can do. That's what we can begin to think about. Africa is not for one person. Africa is for all of us. Let's build this continent. Let's make sure that the continent of Africa is able to take advantage of its richness. Building this continent means loving one another, means treating each other with compassion. That's the only way we can develop. Our leaders have been thinking about how to build themselves, forgetting about people. And that's why Africa is still begging today. That's why Africa cannot develop. We have leaders in Africa who really are careless about how we can develop. They're careless, but they're still maintaining power. They're still thinking about themselves. They're still careless about the needs of the people. These are type of leaders we don't like in Africa. They're selfish, they're arrogant, and they're corrupt. Let's hate them. We can build this continent. I think it's breaking this thing. It's breaking. The internet is not stable here. But let's have the spirit of making sure that we are developing this continent. Let's have the spirit of building the life of the people, developing the continent for the common good of all people. That's the best thing we can do. That's what we should be doing in this Africa. I don't believe like Africa can develop with division. I don't think like Africa will develop if we keep on fighting one another. I don't think Africa is mature if we treat each other like enemies. This is division. This is something that will never see the future of Africa. Let's begin to understand that each and every one of us has got the responsibility to make sure that we develop. More so, our leaders should understand that we believe like they can help us, but as they are looking for selfish interests to develop about their lives only. This is something that I hate in this continent of Africa, and I believe like we are no longer serious as people. If our leaders are selfish, never think about development anymore in the continent. We have got leaders today who believe like when they have money and power, when they control us, they're doing good thing, and they feel like they are indeed in that position because they are the chosen ones. When there is nothing else they're doing, what they're doing is just to make us more divided, to keep us in perpetual poverty. I don't like type of leaders like these ones. Africa can develop. Africa will develop. Let us begin to think about the common man, someone who is poor, someone who cannot do anything, has no capacity, no capital. This one is the one we should think about. Is the one we should take care of. That's the only way we can develop. That's the only way we can change. Don't think about rich people only. Don't think about those people that have good connection on. Think about all people. Africa will be sensible when we begin to do things like one people. And doing that means we need to be united. We need to understand that any leader who is hungry for power, that one is going to make Africa distracted continent. A leader who's thinking about money, a leader who thinks like position is the purpose of his duty, forget about the change of this continent of Africa. We need leaders who understand that they're there in order to help build the lives of the people. These are type of leaders we need in Africa. These are type of leaders we have been looking for. But we have only leaders who are so much more interested in politics. And these are leaders who are stealing from poor people. Leaders who go into power without anything and come out of power while you're rich. You wonder like, what have you done for the people? Nothing. Nothing. People are still poor. They've just made themselves rich. We don't like this type of leaders in this continent. Leaders who don't think about poor people. Leaders who just want to keep us divided. Come on, we are fighting one another in Africa because leaders are not interested to bring us together. Because what they want is to be on power, to control people. That is what is driving their interests in whatever they're doing. Selfish leaders, corrupt leaders, power hungry leaders. Africa cannot develop. It's very sad that with a lot of resources which we have, we are not developing. We are still begging. This is very sad for this continent. We need to think about it. Why is this so? Because we have leaders who are selling our resources at the expense of poor people. We've got leaders who don't care about people. No wonder we are still a continent that is begging for help. But time is coming when Africa will wake up, things will be better. We'll have leaders who understand the needs of the people, leaders who will be interested to solve this puzzle of poverty. And when that thing is done, our lives will be better. The continent will change for good. We'll no longer beg for help. We'll begin giving and helping others because we have got everything it takes for us to develop. We've got the resources. Africa is rich. It must not beg. It must give. I believe we are going to see the continent. I see Africa changing. I see the continent. Let's hope this continent will be better. Let's help. Let's help each and every one of us. Let's help. We can do that by even reminding our leaders that they're not there about themselves. They're there for people. So they have to do everything, whether to cost their life, but they must do everything to bring meaningful change to the lives of the people. Our leaders are afraid to lose everything because of fighting for the people. They're afraid. They're like, no. If it is to lose everything, then I don't have to fight for the people. Let me sell my country. And they're selling Africa. This is very bad. We cannot develop with leaders who are timid, leaders who always fear. They don't do anything. They don't care about people. We can do better. We can change the lives of the people. It is possible to do that if we begin to know that the resources that we have are enough to bring the meaning of change to the lives of the people. Hungry for power is thinking that is useless, and we should not promote it. We should not be thinking about power to be on top, to lead people, to control people, yet we are not caring about their needs. This should not be the motivation. What should motivate us is to care for the lives of the people, to not sleep when people are poor, to keep thinking about poor people. That should be something that should motivate every African leader. We will have better continent if we begin to love one another. Unity is important indeed. Bringing people together should be something that is challenging us so that we can do whatever it takes for African people to begin working together. Let love lead in this continent. Our resources should be something that should make us proud as we think about the lives of the people, to use the resources to change them, to improve their lives. I believe this continent is good to develop. I see there is hope for Africa. There's hope for this continent. This should be the challenge for all people. I'm about to wind this video up. I thank everybody who's watching. Thank you so much. Let us have a responsibility to develop this continent of Africa. It is possible. The discussion, the conversation was about our leaders who are hungry for power. I'm sure in this continent of Africa, we can develop if we have leaders who are hungry for bringing transformation in the lives of the people, not leaders who are hungry for power. Thank you for watching this video. We'll be having regular lives during weekends to discuss about the continent of Africa and the lives of the people and everything that is crucial. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.